Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sofia, and before we begin, I want to share something quickly. This channel has just passed 3,000 subscribers, and I couldn't be more thankful for your support and feedback, but I still haven't reached the watch time required to monetize. If this video helps you, please consider watching it until the end or sharing it with someone learning Portuguese. That small gesture makes a big difference and helps me to keep creating free, highly quality content. So, alright, let's dive into today's topic. The word for today is pois. I want to talk about this word because it might look like a small word, but it has a lot of uses, and mastering it can make you sound much more natural when speaking. This is a word that most of my students question me about and often can create a lot of misunderstandings. So, let's first, we talk about pois as an explanatory conjunction. Let's start with what can be considered a more traditional use. Pois can work as an explanatory conjunction, meaning because, since, or as. For example, fiquei em casa, pois estava a chover muito. I stayed home because it was raining a lot. Não quero ir ao jantar, pois ele vai estar lá. I don't want to go to the dinner since he will be there. As you can see in these sentences, the meaning is it's like English because. This use is common in writing or more formal speech. In everyday conversation, we will usually hear porque or já que instead. So when we look at the example, fiquei em casa, pois estava a chover muito. I stayed home because it was raining a lot. We can see that the word pois is actually working as porque, because. And this is definitely what you will mostly hear in a conversation of daily life, the use of the word porque. However, pois is highly common in writing, and it can also happen as well in conversational. Now let's take a look at pois as conclusive conjunction. Pois can be used as a conclusive conjunction. It kind of means like so or therefore. It's usually placed after the verb between commas. For example, a minha família vai mudar-se para o estrangeiro. Vou ter, pois, de mudar de escola. My family is moving abroad, so I will have to change schools. Again, more common in formal or written language, but it's useful to recognize. And of course, sometimes people can use in conversation, even though it's not as common. The third one is pois as a strong confirmation. And now we are going to what pois means in terms of everyday conversational uses. Pois is often used to give a strong confirmation, especially in short answers. It emphasizes that something is definitely truth, kind of like indeed or that's right. For example, tu gostas mesmo de chocolate? Pois gosto. The first speaker says, you really like chocolate. And the second speaker agree, I sure do. Pois gosto. Second example. Tu bebes sempre vinho ao jantar. Pois bebo. You always drink wine at dinner. Indeed I do. Pois bebo. You can also flip the structure. For example, Estiveram no jantar da Maria? Estivemos, pois. Were you at Maria's lunch? We sure were. These specific examples that I just gave you highlight a very common and important thing to know in Portuguese. Even though you can give answers using sim or no, yes or no, it is much more common that you answer with the verb. In the example, do you like chocolate? The answer is pois gosto. Yes, you can say pois sim, but it's not that common. So, pois gosto, we tend to answer with the verbs that the questions were made with. Gostas de chocolate? Gosto. Ou, pois gosto. What happens here when I add pois? Adding pois, I would say, in this example gives a little bit more personality, more interaction, and more nuance. So you can say a plain yes. Gostas de chocolate? Gosto. Or you can say very enthusiastic. Pois gosto. Yes, surely I like it. And the fourth is pois in conversations, in active listening. So now we are not just talking about answering using the word pois, but it's also used as a kind of conversational filler to show you're actively listening. It's a bit like or right in English. It keeps the conversation flowing without interrupting. You will hear a lot of times people are at the phone and they're talking and someone is like sharing something and the other person is pois, pois, pois. So let's look at an example. For example, claro, eu não disse nada. Não queria discutir. Pois, mas acho que ela ainda gosta do Joaquim. Ah, pois, pois. This is an example of what a conversation in the phone can happen. The person A is sharing and the person B is like, ah, pois, 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 pois. And you will hear this a lot in everyday Portuguese, not only in the phone, but especially when people are gossiping or storytelling. The fifth one is pois as a transition or as a return to a topic. Another use is to shift or return to a topic. Pois acts like a bridge in a conversation, especially when followed by mas. For example, pois, mas voltando ao que estávamos a dizer. Right, but getting back to what we were saying. In this example, this helps signal a change or redirect the focus of the conversation. Pois, mas. The sixth form is common expressions with pois. But what are some of very common expressions you will hear with pois? They are not forming a sentence, but they are itself single expressions. For example, pois claro, of course, obviously. Pois é, that's true. Or you are right. Ela é mesmo linda. Pois é. She's really beautiful. She really is. For negative sentences, it will happen like this. Ele nunca mais chega. Pois não. He's taking forever to arrive. Yeah, I know. I will repeat this one again because it's so exotic. Ele nunca mais chega. He is taking forever to arrive. Pois não. Yeah, I know. Or even sarcastically. Não se passa nada. Pois não. Nothing's going on. Yeah, sure. I say to some of my students that as fascinating as pois is, it can also be tricky and it can lead to misunderstandings. So the next part is for me the most interesting, fascinating, but also the one that I say, take care, attention. And the seventh variation is intonation. In this section, intonation changes everything. Now, here's the real secret to pois, intonation. The same word can express different feelings depending on the tone. We are not adding verbs, we are not adding other words, it's just about the way you say it, the way you say this single word. So be careful. Same word can express different feelings depending on the tone. Excited. Pois. Neutral. Pois. Sarcastic. Pois. Disappointed. Pois. Realization. Ah, pois é. You can even have full conversation just saying pois with different tones. Try it. It's a classical Portuguese thing. But as well, be careful with who you do it because pois is can be so nuanced that it can also be misunderstood. And don't worry, it's not just about the fact that you are a foreigner or you're learning the language and it's not your native language. This also happens within locals. And I have experience saying pois with the intention of a certain intonation and then having the other person reacting or receiving it as a completely different intention. So don't worry, this happens to everyone. So let's recap. You can use pois as conjunctions that form sentences and can replace words like porque, mas, meaning because, so, or you can just as simple short answers with the verbs, combined with the verbs, for example, pois comeu, pois bebeu, giving reassurance, confirmation, or it can also work as denial. Or you can go further to a more nuanced and complex and exotic way, which is using the word pois, completely relying on intonation to express different feelings or emotions. For example, pois, or a more disappointed pois, or even a sarcastic pois. So let's wrap up with a few tips to help you use pois naturally if you feel brave into giving it a try. So first of all, pay attention to the context. Notice people's tone or voice. Practice with short phrases. Replace exactly or right with pois. And when in doubt, add more context to it. So, as I say and advise many of my students, pois is a very funny word that you can practice. It's so exotic, it can have so many meanings, but it can also lead to so many misunderstandings that in doubt, give it a little bit more context. You can say things like pois comeu, pois entendo, pois que interessante. This will reassure that not only you are expressing what you mean, but that you are giving the whole intonation. Sometimes context gives also context to the word pois itself. Now that you have got a full toolbox for using pois in all kind of real life situations, If this helped you, please like the video, leave a comment, share with someone that is also learning Portuguese. Your support means a lot. I appreciate you all. Muito obrigada. Até já!